Well, season's greetings and welcome to the Chromaniacs post-game show. My name is Tony Sanchez, along with Alex from Chromaniacs FC SD and Abraham Cepeda. Guys, one of the worst performances for SanDiego.FC, but are the context enough to carry this results into the Forgotten Land? Alex, how are you, man?
Yeah, doing great. Hopefully, we can bounce back from this one because early on this was not a good match, but hey, they won the second half, so I think there might be some positives there. What about you, Abe?
I had such a bad taste in my mouth. It was so hard to focus on that second half. It was just such a tough performance, one of the toughest goalkeeper performances we've seen from SanDiego FC, but ultimately I think maybe sometimes a really, really bad game is easier to flush out of your mouth than something else. But the past couple of results now have started to feel very, very similar.
Well, as you can see, Craig isn't here. He's currently watched the Padres win tonight against the Angels for a Padres hot tub event that he had. So he's not going to be able to join us tonight. He will be back tomorrow to call the soccer semifinal against St. Louis, but that is a whole different sport, whole different day. Today we have SanDiego FC to talk about because they went to RSL, and honestly, it was going to be rough from the get-go, and we'll make tonight a little bit shorter just because we'll get right into it. Some of the things that we saw early on that kind of put everybody on alert was no Luca Bombino, one of the biggest players and components and pieces of SanDiego FC, not just defensively, but offensively, not a part of the team. So what was your guys' reaction when you saw the fact that Luca Bombino was not going to be part of the squad?
Yeah, and it was after we were giving him a lot of glowing praise on Thursday night, and then the very next day he landed on the injured list, non-available list for SanDiego FC, and yeah, that's a huge blow. And when you start to count like how many healthy bodies there are for SanDiego FC for that back line, you're counting three, and they like to play with a back four, and you start to wonder like who's going to play in that left back position, or can they move some players around? And we saw that it was Bryce Duke, and man, that was a rough one to watch. And that was not a good look to see that Bryce Duke playing left back and Oscar Verhoeven playing right back. And oh man, I thought for a second that it was finally time to see Yepe play there and maybe move Sue over to left back, but again, still not the time to have Tverskov play fireman center back for a day.
Yeah, I honestly felt just like bad for the back line considering how young they are. And it's different when it's like, man, this is a young, fiery back line that can like really do damage. But this is one where you feel like, man, you hope that they don't get that many scored on them. And ultimately they did, but it's just felt like it was going to be a tough match from the get-go.
Well, I thought that if they came out with a tie or a draw, that would have been, cruising on through into the next match at midweek on Wednesday. And honestly, this game could have gone that way 2-2 had it not been for the early mistakes. And something I had gone back and forth with Abe about during the game too was, I was going to ask Mikey, but I ended up asking him about Yepe, and we'll hear the post-match sound here. But in terms of the fact that, it's a young team, and defensively you have Duran back there, but the difference right there, I think, was Duran today. And no, George, I wasn't so much saying and disagreeing with your comment of, hey, let's bench Duran. No, it's just the fact that there wasn't enough moments of learning that he had enough to say, for me to say, okay, well, this is on him. He needs to go ahead and, maybe be put on the bench. This game, however, right off the get-go, you have a couple of actions that in any goalkeeper's kind of repertoire is just nightmare fuel to start the game off. And it starts off based on the system. Monadua bad to Duran passes it into Diego Luna, who just didn't stop. And I mean, this is, yes, it is a systematic goal for sure. But it's just unfortunate that Duran Ferry just makes that choice right there where he could have had a little bit more urgency. But that one for sure, I will chalk for Duran. What do you guys think about that first goal?
Yeah, and one of the final things we talked about on Thursday was like, don't have an error that leads to a shot, and that was it. That was the first thing they did, and it was very unfortunate for Duran Ferry. And this is actually the type of pressing that I want to see out of SanDiego.FC to be more aggressive like that. Um, but yeah, Diego Luna just he was everywhere tonight on the pitch. It was just uh, like an energizer bunny, just all over the pitch. And yeah, he just right place, right time, and just uh really, yeah, just a really bad error for Duran Furry.
Yeah, and I'm honestly surprised that they weren't more prepared or expecting that out of Diego Luna, considering how well he performed against them last year and how like dynamic and impactful of a player he has been for Salt Lake over the past couple years. Like he's going to be coming at you and then just not giving you any sort of time and just applying this type of pressure. So just to make that mistake so early on, it's just it didn't even just feel like just a Duran issue. It felt like an entire like team and coaching issue. Like you should be prepared for Diego Luna, and to let him do that to you is just really tough.
And well, George, I will have to also agree potentially for the second goal because second goal comes in. RSL is feeling the momentum, wants to go up, and there's a difficult header to the second post. Um, but again, I think that if not to stop it, I think Durant can do better in that to put his body completely at his post right there. It's just a unfortunate, first 6 minutes, and RSL definitely came out, and you see San Diego FC being stunned for sure, and not really having that defensive positioning. You have Yepe again as a fifth center back, but in such a proximity you have to go ahead and just protect that space in between you and the post, and not just the post in that space. It's the fact that it came at you. That's the part where I would have to be a little bit more critical, where the fact that the ball came at you to your body, that's where you have to go ahead and get in front of it and not necessarily go with it. And yeah, 100%. It's I think would be another one that Duran will have to look at and say, hey, yeah, that one's on me potentially.
And this is also like on the entire team too, and on Mikey. That's the fourth straight cross going into the box, and they can't defend it. They just can't figure out how to defend these crosses going in because we keep seeing it. We keep seeing this happen over and over for the fourth straight game, and it leads to another goal. And they like as a group, as a team, they also have to figure out like how to stop that because it's a trend. This is a thing that keeps happening. So I mean it, could, yeah. I mean it's right to Fari. He should be able to stop it. I guess he just didn't have like that awareness of like, oh man, this ball's coming at me. I gotta put my hands on it, just lower my body a little bit more. But yeah, I think this is like just a poor kind of team effort of just kind of knowing that this type of play is coming like right at you, and you got to defend better too.
The only thing that I could say that might have some hope on the horizon is that for the first time, Chris McVeigh and Monadua are going to be paired together in their next match. So potentially, this is something that maybe this kind of goes away if Oswald Su's not starting. But it's still a big enough issue that I think you're right, Alex, to be concerned about this for the future.
Oswald Sol has no right starting any time near. And I think that's where San Diego FC is definitely going to feel Addition by subtraction. Yeah, sure. You had Monodua and Christmas McVeigh coming back, but the last time those two were together, there was a red card, right? So, at the end of the day, I have to agree. Like this, with this is a team holistically flailing. In this play right here, you have two players from RSL in the box to the about to be three, and as a play develops, and also it's not the tallest, most physical presences in the box. Oswald just gets caught ball watching. And yeah, sure, I'm a little critical on Duran for the way that he attacked that ball. You have to put your body through it. I'm not necessarily try to, put that right knee out. It's tough, but overall, this is just a weak point for San Diego FC, regardless of who's in there. They just kind of let the ball go all the way across the box and see what happens. And what ends up happening is eventually they're going to go ahead and score a goal. And to that effect, this makes it 2-0. And my question that I was going to ask is like, hey, Mikey, does going down 2-0 equate to one red card in terms of having to build back from that, have that mountain already be put in front of you of 10 men for the rest of the game? Now it's 2-0 for the rest of the 85 minutes left of this match?
Yeah, I think so. Right? It just you're down, in the hole, and you haven't seen this team like collectively put it together that they can come back all the way from a 2-goal deficit, and try to win, right? And try to win, not try to equalize. It's just the way that this team is going right now. You had probably your best offensive players on the pitch, but they just haven't worked together that much this season. So it's hard for me to see like a full on comeback once you're down 2-0. But they tried. They goal in the 14th minute. They were trying.
Yes, he's improved in that he's answering this question. Do you think Sue has improved over the past several weeks? He's improved at learning and adapting to the system, but has he improved as a player himself? I don't think so just yet. You just kind of see his interpretation of what he's supposed to be doing in the spaces that he's being asked to do. He's filling in. He's the understudy, right? If the main actor in the theater play is sick, then you get the understudy one, understudy two. He's understudy four, and so right now he's still reading with the playbook in his hand, looking up and thinking about what to do. And in that moment of indecision, he's getting caught up, and that's not what you can do against honestly RSL, who's a really good team in the West. They're in the top echelons and should be up there, and very deservedly so. This result 4-2. I saw some yells about two goals that were offsides or potentially have been called offsides, leading this to a 2-2. But that's not what you're served. That's not what you're playing. You're playing in CONCACAF. You're playing in MLS style refereeing, and so you need to get used to that. And I think there was some fight for SDFC more in the second half. But is that a matter of, and it's not just this game, it's been the last couple of games. The second half for San Diego FC has been much better, but is that a matter of San Diego FC playing better, or the other team kind of feeling bad and saying, all right, we need to, not put the foot down on the gas and just let up a little bit and get some substitutes out there just because this game is already done. This game is set. What do you guys think about those second half performances?
Yeah, the thing on Sue is like he's playing a role that it like defensively you really have to be solid, right? Um, in the last match against Minnesota, he was pushing the ball forward and getting some passes in the final third. I think he was second in the whole game with 10 passes in the final third. So he was doing like those things positively, like really pushing the ball forward. But you know, like we saw in that second goal, the breakdown there. He I think he just gets he just gets lost in the sauce, right? He's there, he's ball watching and everything, but yeah, he just doesn't react quick enough to really make a play. And I think that's the issue, is like you're playing a defensive position and you have to be really good at it, especially in this style. you're the last line of defense. You have to really go out there and play some solid defense. And I don't think he's got it right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and as far as your second half question goes, I'll say that I don't think Salt Lake was just trying as hard in that second half, just knowing that they have such a huge lead and they were able to maintain possession still. Like, even though SanDiego.FC got possession back, like it was 50% possession on both sides, and that's something that we've almost never seen out of San Diego. And that to me just it felt like really deflating for like the way that this system works and the way that other teams are playing against them, that it seems like they've like really been figured out. Like, it's one thing to say like, oh, it's sophomore slump, they the other teams are playing, they know how to play against, but like when you give up that much possession, it seems like it's starting to get really bad.
And you're going to get these calls, right? Of, hey, is this number 11 would have been improved for this match,
He
improved for
can't
this
play
game?
center back.
He can't play. Yeah, he can't play center back. You had your best front three potentially up there, both Pellegrino being not as match fit. But the thing is, if you can't get the ball to them, it doesn't matter if Chucky Lozano's up there. If you can't connect the defense through the midfield for the offense, then it's not going to work. In this goal that you saw, and it was in the third goal from RSL. I'll play it back because it's interesting how this whole play develops. It's actually because of Yepe being asked to do 1,001 things. Right, RSL is on top of SanDiego FC. They're trying to play it out the back. Here comes Bryce Duke, who is a natural right back, over to Yepe, who gets bodied because the ball's a little bit too ahead of him. But he's coming out of his own box to try to start this all over. But you can't ask that of him. He's not supposed to be there. He's supposed to be the pass after Yepe gets it, like that. He's supposed to be in that midfield trying to create and connect. So you're asking way too much of Yepe in those moments and in those situations. In the fourth goal, again, it's on the other side. Yepe now is trying to go all the way over to the other side of the pitch and try to be a creator and try to be a facilitator, but he's running just so much that by the time he gets there, he's absolutely gassed, and there's nothing that he can necessarily do on that end. Let me see if I can, have it here. Let me throw that up there just so those who are joining us here. Yep is already on the ground there, but we'll see here. Yep, loses the ball because he doesn't have the stamina. He doesn't have the fortitude. They're again in altitude. A ball that gets cleared out the box, and Diego Luna, who does a fantastic play there to get it, and potentially an offside call. My argument there is nope, no offside because the referee didn't call it offsides. But in any case, that's probably the biggest thing that's broken with SanDiego FC is that Yepe is not able to go ahead and be a factor on either side of the ball effectively, and he's not able to get the ball over to Dreyer to get in those moments, to get in those pockets of space to be effective at all.
Yeah, the Danish connection is necessary to make this all happen and score goals. You're for this whole thing to work, you're playing connected dots like throughout the pitch, and if there's a clog in the system, especially in the midfield, if you can't get it to the midfield, it's never going into that final third. And we saw a little bit of what that looked like, not too long ago, but we saw it like in the last 20 or so minutes. We saw how Yepe was pushing the ball forward, and he was in the final third and being involved. And that's what we kind of want to see Yepe do. But he can't do that when you have a young back line and they need help, and he's trying to play different roles and going back and forth, and it must be impossible for him. He must be really frustrated with the whole situation, just as a player, because he has to be everywhere, and when you have to be everywhere, you're not in the spot you need to be to really help this team out.
And especially from the captain too, you're already putting so much onto him, and you put so much onto him last year in terms of minutes and just load. And now this year, when he's like not able to do what he's like makes him an all-star caliber player, it makes the team look bad. It makes him look bad. It's just I think you guys are completely right. It all just kind of falls apart.
Yes, a Danish clog. That's actually pretty funny. But again, going back to 2-0, San Diego FC does respond positively relatively soon. And my biggest takeaway is, this is how you live by the right to dream, you die by the right to dream. This is a ball and a play that gets started by Manadua and a quick counterattack over to Morgan, who is fortunate with the ball, and Ingvartsen finishes. Like that's what that's supposed to be. And in this moment, I'm like, wow, this is going to be so difficult for these players to come back being down 10. I'm like, wait, they're not being down 10. They have a chance. It's 2-1. But it was just a matter of time before Real Salt Lake was able to really come back and put some damage, because in the 37th minute, they put another one back, 3-1. You go into halftime, 3-1, very difficult. You come back 4-1 almost immediately off the top with a really easy finish. But a good play for Real Salt Lake. And, ultimately, you did see that fight from San Diego FC in the second half, and they're better. But as we're saying, like, yeah, they're playing better, but the other teams are just giving up, having pity, like okay, maybe we should not mercy rule these guys. They traveled a long way.
Yeah, I saw that with San Jose in like the second half. They pretty much like didn't want to do much and just conserve their energy, and against Minnesota they started playing back a little bit more with the lead. So I think this is just like the way that teams know, like this whole, San Diego FC is hurt and they have injuries, and they don't really have to do, what do you want to do? Like score 5-6 against this team? Yeah, and then they finally started taking out Diego Luna, and I think Sergi Solans came out. A lot of their attacking players came off the field, and they were like, okay, we're good with a 4-1, 4-2 lead, and that was it. So they get the points, and San Diego's stuck trying to figure. It's another week of trying to figure this out, and I think the only thing I can just ask is this going to get better when McVay's back in there? Bombino, that's the thing. You have a lot of key injuries with this team, and you're just hoping that those players come in, everything is good again, and they can play like they did against the first three teams they played in league play against Montreal, St. Louis, and the third team I can't think of, but yeah, I think that's what they want to get back to.
Yeah, I think it was Kansas City, right? Like,
yeah,
just bottom feeder teams right now. But right now, you're essentially playing like a bottom feeder team because of your depth, because of what you've been presenting, because of facing quality teams and the response that you've gotten, and they really haven't gotten back and to form since those initial couple of runs. But there is going to be a sprint all the way to the World Cup, but you still have very important games up until then. But you can't lose too much position from that moment on. Later on in the match, San Diego FC does get a little bit of a break. Honor Stryer goes to ground, penalty called, VAR checks, no foul on Lewis by Lewis Morgan before. There is a foul as dictated by VAR, and that's a very awkward place for this highlight reel to end. What? That's where this highlight reel ends.
They're hiding because that was the biggest dive you've ever seen, Tony. That's what happened, okay? Honors Dryer basically fouled the Salt Lake defender and then somehow went down. That was completely lucky call on San Diego FC's part, if I'm being honest. No way should that have been a penalty for San Diego.
Alex?
That's I mean, he knew what he was doing. He knew that if he got tangled up, there might be a call there, and with the refs, I saw the ref right there in the replay. He's like right behind the play, so he's like, he went down. All right, we got to give a penalty here. He didn't have the best angle, and then VAR is probably just like, it's your call. Just call it how you want. It's a 4-1 game.
For me, like in the sake of consistency, and I told Abe this. This is a penalty because Dreyer puts himself in that position to get fouled, essentially to get that contact. If that's a penalty, that means that the yellow card for McVeigh last week was also a yellow card because the defender put himself in that position to get the contact, right? So it's literally the same to the same. Like I'm fair across the board. It's a smart play by the person who got fouled. Yeah, Dreyer definitely dives after. Is it a yellow card for simulation? No, because there was contact. But at the end of the day, Dreyer initiated the contact for the penalty. So fortunate, 4-2. SanDiego tries to rally, and according to MLS, that's the end of the game. There was a penalty shot.
There, there was like another potential, like, I guess not penalty or maybe like a yellow card, but the high kick from Mano Dua, I was like, dude, don't do that. Don't do. What are you doing? And it was
like
I think
the
it was
first 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think it was like inside the box too. So I was like, oh my god, they're gonna call it. They're gonna call, and luckily they let that one go. But yeah, what do you guys thought about that one? Because I was at home just like, oh man, they're gonna call another one.
I literally got out of my chair and was like, no way. Just because it was absolutely insane. For him to even attempt the high kick, which kind of seemed unnecessary too, in the first 2 minutes of the game was just with all the red cards and stuff. With it shows you how much that like we as like people that watch the game, fans, media, we are thinking about these red cards the whole time, and I don't think the players are thinking about it at all because he's still willing to make a play like that in such a like important moment where he's just like, oh my god, this is insane. But like, thankfully, he didn't catch anyone's face. The referee didn't call it, so it's all okay. You can kind of breathe and forget about it. But I definitely was with you, Alex, just for at least like a minute. Like my heart was just like racing. Like, how could he do that? What is the team doing? Is Mikey Varas like put the camera on Mikey Varas? What is his reaction to that? Because I would love to see how Mikey Varas reacted when he saw Monadua's leg go that high.
And missed essentially. Like that could have ended really badly for SanDiego FC. But I know there's one player who's thinking about it, and it's Oswald too. There's a couple of chances where he's just choosing not to put his body in there. He's just choosing not to do it because he is the last man. But it's they just got fortunate. Like victory, no red cards. Good job, SanDiego FC, for being disciplined enough to not see red for the first time in a while. So kudos to that. So which means that next game you should be able to have a fully available squad. And we'll see what the condition is for Luca Bombino and Pellegrino, who did come up at the end. The last kick of the match was a Pellegrino wide open shot and a great save, but a disgusting miss. Disgusting miss. You have to score that. You have to score that. I don't care, how great the goalkeeper is. You have to score that in that moment. And yeah, would have made it 4-3. No result. I get it, but like, it's easier than you think in that moment to score that. He has to score those.
Yeah, and it's just really unfortunate that this team just got behind the 8 ball early, and they they tried to get in position to really go forward and try to get those chances in the final third, but they just didn't have they didn't have a lot of opportunities. It was 9 total shots and 5 shots on target, and 3 big chances missed, and that's it. Like, I think what fans, when fans are asking about needing a striker or an upgrade in the offensive third, they're pretty much asking for, like, these guys, when they get their opportunities, they can't miss. Like, they have to be like, one of one. They have to like hit the shot each time they get it. Because right now right now they're not getting a lot of opportunities. So that limited time, like those limited chances that they do that, they have to score them. And another big miss by Pellegrino, which he's just coming in from injury, and it's got to be tough on him too. Like he's just showing up to Salt Lake and being like, all right, I can contribute as much as I can, but I probably can't give you a lot. And just big miss there. It's a good save by the goalkeeper.
I will say that if you guys want to have a little more insight into the physiology, the physio side of things, I did do an interview with the head of human development for San Diego FC. It's on the SanDiego.Futbol page, and it essentially just a roadmap as to how they're preparing. And I think a lot of these lower body injuries have to do with the ramp up of the season. They did have to start the season 3 weeks earlier than they thought they were going to, and they had a couple of intense matches, and now you're kind of seeing the residual of that on the other side because of that schedule that was so compact with so many intense games. So it's not the worst situation to be in, but San Diego is definitely feeling the ramifications of all of that. Marcus with a hard one, especially when it was bouncing as he shoots it. Yeah, I mean, he's a striker. He's supposed to be doing those things. But for Pele, like, punch to the ball, like with toe poke it, like give some questions. But it was a great save. It was still a great save. I will say at the end of the day too. You guys want to hear from Mikey Vadas and my conversation with him?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, Mikey Vadas, post-match RSL. Here we go.
Mikey Vadas. Mikey, just start you off. Just your thoughts on the match tonight.
Yeah, I think we started really, really tight. It felt that we were trying not to make mistakes, and obviously when that happens, they punished us. And it was hard to get a footing in the game, but I give the guys a lot of credit. I think adjustments in the second half that they made, we won the second half. So that's a step for me. But at the end of the day, we're all honest. We know that we're not playing our best. We're also going through a very tough time with certain things not going our ways. Only having 3 defenders on the roster tonight. But at the end of the day, we know we can play better, and that's what we're working towards. We're working towards getting to our best, and that's completely 100% my responsibility, and I take that seriously.
Go ahead, Tony.
Thank you for your time, Mikey. As you mentioned, for the last couple of games, actually, the second half has been much better for San Diego FC. What is that turnaround after the halftime that sees the team, whether it's 10 men down or with the full 11, be able to come back? And also, what makes it difficult to have that one-on-one press as a couple of teams have been doing so far?
Yeah, I mean, the 1v1 complicates you because if you're not at your best on the ball at the moment, then you can create some pretty big transitions for them. And then also it's hard to solve that puzzle and create the big chances that you want to create against them. But the most important thing is that we keep insisting on who we are because this is a long season. And at the end of the day, we have the full confidence that we're going to come out of this. And this is where you test who you are as a person. And my job is to steer us through this moment and make sure that we come out of it on the other side.
And then can you could you just give me just some insight on the position that Jeppe has been put in, just having to drop back so much and help that defensive line, but also having to be the one to start the offense on the other side. How difficult has this last stretch been for Jeppe specifically?
I'm asking a lot from him because, I want him higher up the pitch when we are trying to score against a low block, putting him on the back line because we needed some more stability with the fact that, we don't have all natural defenders on the back line right now. And he's a consummate professional and team guy, and he's just willing to do whatever it takes. And I think he was really important, especially in the second half, in terms of helping us find some stability in the game and being able to score a goal and create some important chances.
Thank you so much. Safe travels.
Yeah, they're using Jeppe a lot, and it's starting to show. He's just getting a lot of minutes, playing everywhere, and when just like Mikey said, and he wants him further up the pitch, and you can't do that when you're stuck trying to kind of babysit the back line and see if they're all good.
Yeah, I think Mikey still sounds like pretty confident. Still sounds a lot like how he's sounded in previous matches, and even still in their draws or losses. It's still a lot of confidence in the team, but there's still a little bit there where I feel like you can just see that there's a lot of like just questions overall from himself about just like the way that the team's playing, like playing tight and not being able to like make passes that they used to make, that he'll say that he's responsible for, but it's ultimately probably just the team's chemistry just not working this year, and I guess that probably is a responsibility of his. But I don't know. It seems like the answers are going to be really hard to come by over the course of the season, other than them just like playing better. And I'm struggling to see like where the future is for this team, especially if teams are playing this well against them and when they're playing man on man against them. Like that, I think that's a good question you asked him, Tony, but he really didn't like have an answer for it. He just said like, yeah, it's kind of hard. We just have to pass better. And it's like, is it really that easy? Like that seems like kind of a cop out answer. I don't know.
I felt like it too. It's been, I mean, it's consistent to what he's been saying the last couple of weeks, but like the thing is, like, you can't really judge this team based on the performances because each time they've had to maneuver a different way with a man down, right? And so you have so many different avenues to go ahead and to really, make these mistakes, and you have all the outlets to say, hey, because I was looking at it before the match, is the difference in this team really McVeigh, Bombino, Pellegrino? Because outside of that, your team was a starting 11. Outside of that, and again, we've heard about this next person stepping up mentality. It seems like Alex Mighton should have been the one instead of Bryce Duke on the right back position. Verhoeven did what he could over on the left back position. He did get taken advantage a couple of times too. But there's just the system itself. This is what the system gave you today. The result that how good the right to dream style is when you don't have the players executing at 100%. It's a 4-2 loss, Alex.
Yeah, and the thing you're looking up and down the Western Conference right now, and it's just interesting that like San Jose Earthquakes, they didn't upgrade or do. I mean, they brought in Timo Werner, but he hasn't really played that much. It's really about who they had in their system, and they brought those kids up, and now they're flying, right? They're second in the Western Conference. Vancouver and LAFC. It was all about what they did over the summer transfer window, and then Real Salt Lake, same thing as San Jose. Sergi Solans, Xavier, all these kids that you're seeing on the pitch, they brought these kids up. There's a system. Like Sergi Solans just showed up from the super draft. So it's just it's interesting that we have the right to dream system, and we have these supposed players that are ready to go and contribute, but they're not at the level as any of those players on San Jose or Real Salt Lake. So, and I think also what I keep seeing like each week too is it's not just like the man marking. Like there, a lot of the teams are taking a risk and just surrounding players, like 2-3 players at a time, and just trying to get the ball back and counter the other way. And I saw that with tonight again with Real Salt Lake, and I remember when San UFC used to do that last year, but you can't do that when you have a back line like that, and you're kind of it's all pieced together, because that impose risks. Like if you try to surround somebody with 2 or 3 men, what happens if they're able to get that ball away and they're able to go the other way and score? So it's tough. It's tough that they can't play the way they want to play, and hopefully when these players do come back, we start to see it. And right now it's like it's not even about getting to the end of the season with what you have. Excuse me. You're just trying to get to the World Cup, to the World Cup break, and that's still like 5-6 weeks away, and you're just holding on. You're just holding on for like maybe a point each game, maybe, a win every other game. I don't know. I don't know how they're thinking of it, but you're just trying to survive at this point.
We'll have some sound here from Marcus Ingvartsen, goal scorer. Yes,
Real quick, I was just like thinking while looking at the Western Conference, I was looking at the Eastern Conference and thinking about what happened, and what was kind of the big news in MLS this week was Javier Mascherano leaving Inter Miami in a place where they're kind of in a similar results type of moment as SanDiego FC, probably playing a little bit better than SanDiego FC, and their head coach just left, just like decided to resign. I don't think I doubt that we're at that point where SanDiego FC and Mikey Varas are like having like infighting like that because of like the whole Messi stuff. But like, I think there's enough of a connection there, especially with them getting knocked out of CONCACAF Champions Cup by Nashville and SanDiego FC getting knocked out by Toluca. It's kind of, they're kind of in a weird similar spot right now. But do you guys think that like Mikey Varas at all feels like any sort of hot seat right now?
A little.
mean, you feel a little. I mean, I don't think so, because it's too, everything's still kind of new, and it's second year, and I mean, we just went through an entire I mean, we went through a summer transfer window and a winter transfer window, and I think things are still getting sorted out in terms of like players and filling those players out. I don't know. I don't think there's any sense of a hot seat.
It's getting turned on. Like some questions have to be asked, right? It'd be irresponsible almost not to go to Mikey and say like, all right, like what's the plan? Like this clearly isn't working. Give me what your forecasted trajectory is in order to right the ship. He's gonna say, well, I'm gonna get my players back. Well, they've been playing us well. Things haven't gone our way, right? Like we've heard that a couple times in the post match. But I think that if technically it's not a hot seat for sure, but some questions have to be asked and said, like, okay, what's the path? This is who you've asked, and not just Mikey, right? This goes hand in hand with Tyler. This is the team that Tyler provided Mikey. These are the moves, these are the holes in the roster that were left there by the sporting director and GM. How are you going to address those? How are you going to fix those? Because again, at least one or two players additionally would have done well for this game in the last couple of games. But I think that it's not going to be. It's not going to change. And I'm looking at people like, well, hopefully they can change the style, or if Right to Dream, or was it? We keep talking about this. We keep talking about the system and Right to Dream, but it seems like it doesn't support DP or big player signings, which really sucks. Guess what? Since the inception of this club, Abe, Chiva, and I, we've been talking about like, don't get like Kevin De Bruyne, Salah, like relax, guys. Even if they do come, this is going to be a system, and it's going to bore you sometimes. It's going to be frustrating. It's going to be great. And you saw the great side of it last season, and it was just cloud nine for the entire season. And now some gravity is being applied, and now you're kind of coming back down to earth, and you're seeing what the reality is at the end of the day. So this is a tough place for SanDiego FC to be. Let's go into some Marcus and Varson real quick, and then we'll start to close this off.
Yeah, tough one, tough start. Not good enough. Too many things in the game where we struggle and don't find ourselves. Yeah, we're struggling a little bit at the moment, and we have to figure out how to get out of this and get back to our normal style.
We'll go to questions on Zoom. Tony, go ahead.
Thank you, Marcus, for your time. As somebody who's played in the system more than anybody alongside Jeppe, what difficulties come up whenever a team does seem to have a certain way to defend, as we've seen the last couple of games, with that one-on-one press individually to really stop that development from the play from the defensive end?
Yeah, normally I think it's something that fits our style very well. Unfortunately, we are at a moment where the basic stuff, the simple passes, the cleanness is in our games not there. We are making too many mistakes, too many easy giveaways, and that makes us come into pressure. I think normally a team that goes in high pressure, do one-on-one pressing is something that I know we normally would be really good to handle. We also did earlier in the first couple of games this season. So it's about breaking that first pressure, but at this moment we are struggling in the basic stuffs, and that's hurting us a bit.
Despite the results, what are some of the positive connections that are happening in the team from the last couple of games and into today?
Yeah, we of course have had some good moments also, and today in the second half we step up a bit. So there are of course some positive things, but all in all, it's been a couple of games where we haven't looked ourselves, and I think it's important for us to really come together. Now we have a game in a few days again, which is nice at this time. So we are on the road. We can spend some time together the next couple of days, and we need to get that solved.
Thank you so much. Safe travels.
Thanks.
Marcus
Probably-
Ingvartsen.
Yeah, he's probably the guy that's benefited, being healthy and being out there and being served up the ball by Anders Schreier the most, because he has like contributed positively to, in the squad. So it's just with the style of play, it's all about piecing it all together, and you will see more goals out of Marcus Ingvartsen and Anders Schreier and whoever the left winger is going to be. But yeah, I mean, I watch it and I see it, and yeah, it can come together. It's just having the healthy bodies out there to make it happen.
Anything from what you heard from Marcus, Abe?
Yeah, I mean, it's being a striker when you don't really like get the ball is like always a tough spot, especially in these like post game press conferences, and being in enough of these, you could hear the frustration in their voices when it's like they make one goal, but you could tell like no one's really happy, and they're not really allowed to like enjoy making the goal, even though like Marcus is probably in one of his better like technical forms of his like tenure with SanDiego.FC right now, I guess you could say. Like you could tell like it's starting to work. It clicks when he does get the ball and when they are able to like feed him. But when it's not happening, everything's so bad on the defensive end, it's just really, really a tough spot for Ingvartsen to be in. But I do think that like we've seen enough of when Marcus is healthy and when it's all working, that you can have that hope for the future of when it does all click. Marcus Ingvartsen is going to be a huge part of this team and that front line.
5 goals this season. Marcus has been doing what he's been asked to do, and so I think that's a lot of these players too. They're doing what they're being asked to do situationally, and situations just don't benefit to give that to Mikey and the context that he gives. But it's just been the same thing over and over, just like copy paste almost. But now they find themselves in 9th place going into a midweek game against Houston Dynamo, who is 10th place in the Western Conference. So we'll see. And Marcus at the end did mention that he's happy that he gets a midweek game. The team is happy that they get a midweek game because that means they don't have time to ruminate this for a week. They don't have time to just sit through this. They have to do a quick turnaround, go to Texas. They're going to fly directly tonight over there, from here to there, from us. Well, it's not Salt Lake. It's from Sandy, Utah. Yeah.
Sandy. Yeah.
From Sandy, Utah. But that's the reality of San Diego FC. We'll see if there's meet availability early in the week, and then we'll provide that for everybody here on the channel. But Alex, Abe, anything else for this match?
No, I mean it's got to be this is probably the best thing for him, the Houston Dynamo match, especially for Duran Ferry. You just want to forget about this and focus on training, and then play again on Wednesday. We just hoping we can see some players come back. We will see one player come back in Chris McVeigh, and hopefully that kind of settles some things around the back line, and you just got to hope that this is the game where they can turn it around, and then it can that momentum can go on to the next game.
Yeah, I definitely am more optimistic about this match as well. Like you said, just a lot of you'll be able to spit the last result out and then put something else out there and prove that was just kind of a fluke. But there is also like a nightmare scenario where more bad stuff happens, more just defensive errors, a lot more like immaturity, maybe another red card or something like that, where it could just be like, I hate to like put that out there, but like it's not out of the realm of possibility where in the way that this team has been playing. And then also like midweek matches are always just a coin flip in my opinion, because like you're putting a lot of stress on the body. You're going from altitude as well. It's going to be a tough match for sure. But I think that I'm ultimately optimistic, especially with McVeigh and Dua being in that duo.
Just will CJ be in goal? Probably, if he's good to go. We've heard that from Mikey Varas that he is trending towards that starting position, starting role after tonight's performance by Duran. That also gives him a boost, in my opinion. But again,
Duran made some good saves after that.
100%.
Start,
100%. 100%. However, he was part of that 2-goal that would have made this a draw. And, systematically, yes, does Cisniega be put in that position? Do they give up that goal to Diego Luna? Potentially. And if he does start, we'll see what that means. But Pablo Cisniega did get injured during the international break in one of the friendlies. So he should be out a couple more weeks from there. But yeah, I mean, and again, Brian Zamblay, he's just the kid. There was nothing there to really point at the end. He earns a couple of corner kicks, and there was no urgency there. Just kind of very, okay, let me just walk it over. And his teammates were actually like, oh, like, hurry, go get the ball. We need to go ahead and get that for sure. But it's a tough stretch for San Diego FC. And most, if not all, of these teams have had a tough stretch in MLS. You're not special, San Diego FC. But it's a matter of how are they going to respond, especially from where they were, and then moving forward to see how they respond with the summer transfer window coming in and what pieces are going to be added, because there is pieces needed for San Diego FC for sure. All right, Abe, Alex, anything else from you guys?
No, I mean, I'm always glad that we have a team to talk about. no matter what, no matter if it's a 8-game winning streak or 5 winless streak that we are on right now. But yeah, I always appreciate the time, especially talking some soccer with you guys. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm always glad to be invited to the Chromaniacs as well. Thank you guys for letting me join your guys' platform. It's always a lot of fun to chat, especially like post game. I don't realize how much like energy I feel post game. Like it's a lot of fun chatting with you guys like this.
100%. And thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Long night, but again, it's long season for sure. And we'll see what San Diego FC has in store against Houston midweek. Stick to everything that we do here on SanDiego.Futbol. You get the website, you get everything on our socials, all sorts of coverage. You'll get the full press conference already on our YouTube channel, SanDiego.Futbol. Alex, what about you?
I'll have a recap of the match on ChromaticFC.com, and you can follow along on the socials, ChromaticFC SD. What about you, Abe? You gonna talk some wave pretty soon?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna on Two Balls on Mike on Monday. We're probably gonna be talking a lot of U.S. Women's National Team. They had a pretty big game this weekend against Japan. 1 win, 1 loss, and then 1 win with a lot of goals from San Diego Wave defenders, former midfielders. Kind of crazy how impactful San Diego is on the international level. But yeah, look out for that. It's always fun to chat SDFC though with you guys. So we'll definitely be going all in on Monday on Two Balls and Mike too.
Absolutely. And until then, thank you guys for joining. And we'll be back here on Monday, 2 Balls and a Mic, 8 p.m. every Monday. See you guys then.